The Rattler is my favorite putter because I've used it for the last 12, 13 years straight. It's the straightest disc that I think was ever manufactured. It's more like an old style Frisbee, and no matter what line you set that disc on, it's gonna fly on that line. It's like my favorite comment about that disc is that I always feel like if I miss, it was my fault. It had nothing to do with that disc because that disc goes exactly where you throw it. It holds hyzer, it holds anhyzer, it will hold it for the entire flight. It won't give it up at the end of the flight and suddenly dog left or veer right. It'll just keep holding whatever you put on it. So it's a remarkable disc in that regard. From people who have played a lot of Ultimate or just used a standard old Whammo disc, they pick it up and go, oh wow, this is just like a mini Whammo, or I'll be able to throw this more easily just because it's more like an Ultimate disc, but it's tiny, comparatively anyway. Sidearm, you can manage that disc with sidearm, and that's where I'd say you definitely want the heaviest one you can get, but I don't use it at really long ranges sidearm because it gets a little harder to flick it effectively at longer ranges, I think. Yeah, the grip I use most of the time is a kind of a modified fan grip, and I've pretty much splayed my fingers out on the bottom, but I pinch with my thumb on top up against the in between the joints on the forefinger, so that when I'm snapping, it's like the end of the snap is a pivot between those points to get a little spin to keep the disc stable. And that's the one I'll use at closer ranges or moderate ranges. And then if I'm going a lot farther back, I'll modify it to a partial closed finger grip where I've got the middle finger sticking out on the bottom, and I've got a crossover pinch like that. I feel like I need to credit this to Scott Zimmerman, who won 10 US Opens, using this grip for everything, for power throws, for accuracy throws. I'd say almost any weight in the 70s would be just fine. If you're in more wind, probably 175, but you can get away with 170 and still have it perform pretty much just like the heavy one.